Alright, UR gear is coming out for global tomorrow, so that's how you know I should make a video explaining UR gear and who to make UR gear for. Now, the reason why I say who to make UR gear for is because unlike SSR gear, UR gear is specific to a named character. Now, that's not just UR gear, it's engravement. You use your regular gear and you engrave with Merlin here to upgrade that gear 1 rarity, and that 1 extra rarity in the stats from the 1 extra rarity will only be applied to one named character that you choose. If I go here on Merlin, I can choose a gear, let's say this gear, I want to make this UR, and I want to make this UR for Bond for some reason. Then only Bond will get the extra stats from making UR, which would be extra 289 attack on that gear. Now, you need this currency right here, which you can see I only have 4, you need 10 of. And this currency you acquire in the training dungeon, or I guess on global they're calling it training Croto? I don't know how to say that name, I never heard that word, I'm not American. But yeah, in the training thing, and you get it by beating the gold fights, which is for every 3 fights you do of a level 3 fight. I haven't done level 1 and 2 fights, it's Training Cave Guide is coming out in a bit. It's coming out after the actual mode comes out, and you know I'll be beating all level 3 fights and everything. But yeah. That will be more explanatory on how gold fights work and stuff. But you get this currency, you can get, you get a fixed 3, you get a guaranteed 3 of that currency, but you can also get another 3 or 2 drop, or you can not get another drop. Making UR gear takes a lot of resources. What I mean by that is, if I go here on my gear sets, let me open Meliodas here, and just to show my gear sets right here, I don't have a Krypton here, let me just transfer to him. This is his. As you can see right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 sets and 2 extra. Pretty much 11 sets of UR gear, some SSRs and stuff, but I have pretty much 11 sets of UR gear, and this is me playing the game as a pay-to-play player for months. So do not, and I mean do not expect to just make a bunch of UR sets. This takes a lot of, this is all SSR gear that I fully evolved and then upgraded to UR gear. That's the hardest part. And don't expect to just have a ton of UR gear. I specifically chose characters I wanted to have UR gear for, and I still have characters I want to make UR gear for. That's the worst part. Like Merlin doesn't have UR gear. This UR set right here is for Estarossa. Yeah, so pretty much if you have this, let me see. I have 2 sets for Emilio. There's one with HP and defense, one with attack and defense. Attack and crit damage, I'm saying. If you want to upgrade, like I said, you have the gear right there, click there, and you go to Merlin. Now, real quick, so UR gear, I have a list here of units that got released their UR gear. Because at release on JP, this might not be the same case for global, but on release on JP, there was not UR gear available for every character. It came out in batches, and these were the batches. In 30th of October, which was when UR gear was first conceived, it was only for Meliodas and Elione. And so every 2 weeks, we would get a new batch, and new batch, and new batch. Up until this point right now on JP, every unit has UR gear. But as you can see, if I go scroll down here, where is Escanor? Escanor, I'm pretty sure was one of the last ones. Yeah, Escanor was in 9 of April. Remember, it came out in October, and it took until April for Escanor to get his, So, for a while there might not be UR gear for the characters that you might want, but I don't know, they might just release every character at once on global, so who knows. But as a, a safe bet, characters that are really good for UR gear are characters that you're gonna use on a day-to-day basis. Meliodas is a character that you're gonna use all the time. There are so many good Meliodas in the game. Right now, global doesn't have Lost Vein, but you don't need Lost Vein. Demon Meliodas is so good. The blue Demon Meliodas is so good, and when Lily comes out as well. This is a very bad batch. I mean, if you're one of the brave ones, it's gonna make UR gear for 2. But here's the thing: the reason why it's such a commitment to make UR gear for a character is that, let's say for example, I want to use this UR gear set in someone else now. Well, now I can't make a UR gear for them. I mean, I could actually, I can actually make this unengrave and make it for the other character. But that would be a waste of those 10 gems I used, and they're not, you know, cheap. They're not so easy to get. So yeah, like for example, I could just dismantle this, you know, stuff, but you're gonna have to make a new, fresh SSR set from scratch for every character that we want to make UR gear for, and that's the big commitment, right? That's why I don't have, you know, that many. Yeah, going back here, you know, Bon, if you, I don't, Bon, he really falls off. There are no top tier meta Bons right now, and you know, he is really good for linking though. One day I might do UR gear for Bon just for linking. DN is really good. Of course, we have a small DN, which is really good. Jericho, I actually do, as you can see, have UR gear for Jericho. I have, you know, these two pieces right here for the attack because I wanted to make a full crit damage. Oh, by the way, also forgot to point out, you can actually go to Jericho, so I can show this. You can, like I said, you can engrave any rarity of gear. You just upgrade one rarity to another. And what I did for testing was I actually, you know, because you can re-roll R gear with just gold, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should engrave some R gear and make it SR. It's good. Like when I did this, it was when I wasn't, you know, able to do all these SSR sets. And back in the day when I, you know, did this, getting SSR sets done was much more difficult because there was a lack of anvils and stuff. Nowadays on JP, and you know, as the game progressed, it's much easier to make SSR sets than it was back in the day. So, you know, in hindsight right now, I wish I didn't waste those gems, but at that time it was pretty good. So if you want to make some, you know, engravements of R gear, maybe on the right side, it's not so bad. But be of note, it will take you the resource, it will take 4 of those purple gems to make R gear from R gear into SR gear, and it's not the biggest of bears. If you really want to be optimal with the engravement, you should only make SSR into UR. But yeah, you know, FreeZero, you know, just they release all these Rs and SR characters that aren't, you know, worth a damn. King, you know, big unit to get UR gear. I have, of course, UR gear for King. I have HP and defense for him because King, not only, you know, the blue King is really good, but the red King is a fantastic unit as a 4th unit, as a 4th slot, and he, you know, gets the CP and stuff from the UR gear, so that was very worth it. As you can see, 47,000 CP on my King because of the UR gear. Elaine, Gila, Galen, Mons, they released these 4 batch as well, these 4 commitments. Balion, Elat, Lilia, Valenti, you know, they released Lilia and Valenti's UR gear together. Lilia, you know, it's I do have UR gear for Lilia. It's worth it, but I wouldn't say it's a top priority at all. I'm gonna talk about the priorities in a second. I just want to, you know, talk about the schedule. But then again, like I said, it could. By the way, people ask about my gear set for Lilia because Lilia is coming to global in just, you know, not so long. I did give mine HP and defense. If you want to go for the extra healing, you can go for attack and defense, no problem. There's no issue with that. I only went with HP and defense because her CP is not very high, and I wanted the more CP. But yeah, you know, a full pierce on the attacks, full pierce, because she gives pierce to the allies. The more pierce she has. Slater, you know, these, you know, very relevant characters. Starosa, when he released, he came with UR gear. Yeah, a lot of characters, when they released, they already came with UR gear, like Esterosin. How's it, Grimoire? Blah, blah, blah. You know, there was a big, you know, Dariar, when she came out, she came with UR gear, and the Arthur as well. Merlin, I need to make UR gear for Merlin so bad. You know, these characters right here. As a rule of thumb, the top priority characters, in my opinion, right, are for sure, Meliodas. So if they you know, release the batch as it was on JP, which I don't think they will. I think they'll speed it up, right? And it took so long for Askiner to get his UR gear, so I think they'll speed it up for sure. They probably will speed it up. But Meliodas is a big name, especially because you need to think of future units. Any character named Meliodas will have the UR gear. So I don't know, 1 year from now, if they release Assault Meliodas, Demon King Meliodas, whatever. If they release, I don't know, Angel Meliodas, they could come up with Meliodas, right? He will have the UR gear. And same goes for, you know, any good character in the future, any of the top priority sins, I think is worth the UR gear. King is 100% worth the UR gear. Diane is worth for a link for King, especially. That's why I have him on mine. Escanor, of course, when his come out, there's not even a question if Escanor is worth it. But people ask if they should give HP and defense or attack and defense. Honestly, it's in your preference. I gave my attack and defense because I'm not a cuck. But a lot of my friends did give him HP and defense for the extra CP as well. But because I'm a man, right? I'm kidding. But yeah, I gave mine attack and defense. It's your preference really. But Meliodas when he comes out, King, I think Diane is very worth it because of the small Diane. And small Diane, when she comes out, she might be actually very viable in the meta. Who knows? I'm talking about this small Diane. She is a tank with taunt, and she's really good. I gave mine UR gear as well. Should be a link for King because she is a link for him, and the more stats the better. It's a thing, right? Arthur is so good on global. I don't know if I would say he might be worth it, but he is just so good on global. He could be a good option, but because like nowadays he isn't meta, and I talk in a sense of someone that plays a version that's a little bit ahead, a few months ahead, and I know the characters are currently more meta than others. Arthur is not meta on PvP right now, but he is with the mono red team, so that could be worth it. Maybe HP and defense for Arthur would not be so bad, especially if you love the unit. Merlin is super worth it. Don't have it on mine yet, but yeah, I actually want to give her HP and defense just because of the stats as well. Some characters are not currently on global, but eventually will be, and could be, worth your making a set eventually. It's Rarity for sure. She's like the best PvE unit in the game till this day. She's such a... I have one of my most popular videos is her soloing stuff. It's just her soloing just one unit, Extreme Crimson and stuff like that, and she's just so good. Esterosa was pretty worth it. I think he's a really good character, but he's not necessary at all. He's more of an ungeared character anyways. I only did it because I just really love his full counter that he does every time he counters. Other than that, those are the top priority characters. The ones that I said are the top priority characters. Actually, okay, I didn't mention, but Gopher is really worth it. Now, here's one thing you can do with Gopher, if you want to be extra. Now, I gave mine HP and defense. This is UR gear, of course. If you want to be extra, and I mean very extra, and you want to maximize his passive, which is, for each turn that he doesn't take damage, he boosts the allies by 10%, up to 5 times. If you want to be really extra with your Gopher, you could give him full defense and resistance substats on his defense thing. I have one resistance substat right here, but I actually need to reroll this. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. I'm going to reroll after something. I did not know that. But yeah. If you want to be very extra, you can give your Gopher resistance substats on the middle ones and full on all 6 defense and UR. And that would be a really fine Gopher for any like PvE activities that don't hit you super hard. I mean, also will do damage, but more times than other times, they'll hit Gopher and he will not take damage and he will just boost the allies. So if you want to be really extra, that's really good. All the other characters, that's by your preference. I do not recommend characters like Hellbrim. They are pretty cool right now, but eventually they will not be. So you will just kind of be wasting your stuff. Right now, actually, Valencia is super meta on global. Honestly, if you want to be a cuck, okay, but not so bad. Characters that you really like. The game is about characters that you like and stuff as well. So, you shouldn't just focus on, what's the most optimal. I can only do the most optimal. Because if I only wanted the most optimal, I would have not given Esterosa 6 UR gears. Especially because, oh, not this one. Especially because, this one is not worth URing at all. You want to UR 100% the HP ones and the attack ones. Because they are, better than the defense ones. Defense is more of a lesser good stat in general. But yeah, those are the characters I recommend. And be prepared for UR gear. It's going to be a lot of resources wasted. And do not worry about getting all your characters, your gear at once. Like I said, I have 11 sets, but this has been going on since October last year, and I am a pay-to-play player. You know, every single time Training Cave opens, I do it. I sometimes I bought it twice. I bought twice the pack, which is this one, right here. This one right here that they sell. I've bought this pack twice, so I guess one set was 100% paid. And you know, I being more ahead of time in the game's lifespan, we do get much more embos on GP than I'm pretty sure you get on Global. There are 50 embos a week that you just don't get from Guild Boss that we do, because Guild Boss is extreme here in Global and doesn't. So stuff like that. Do not worry about getting full war gear, but be of note, right now, on PvP, you know, months ahead of time, on, I don't want to say challenge, but top 100, if you don't have all 4 of your characters, all 8 of your characters pretty much, like all 4 of your characters plus some of the links, in war gear, you're not winning CP battles. It's just, it's sad. But do not worry about this right now. Just keep grinding your game and you'll be fine. Alright, that's it. Thank you guys for watching.